There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades everything. That power that can make a way out of nowhere.
Today, in the world, there's so much suffering because of that one of prayer.
Live from New York City, this is the Prayer Revolution. My name is Doyal, and I am here with my good friend and co-host Vira. And we're so happy to be with all of you guys. We start our days off with the morning prayer, and then we have a discussion about bringing the mood of prayer into our daily life. We've got a live Instagram audience as well as a live Zoom audience. And if you're listening on a recording, we're glad you're here as well. We broadcast on all our podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, etc., etc., etc. Thanks for being here. How you doing this morning, Vera?
Doing great. I was just thinking, I heard you saying this morning that we all come together in the morning and we have a prayer and then we have a revolution. So you guys are ready. You guys are ready for both, right? We're not just going to pray today. The revolution is what comes right after that.
We're ready for revolution.
All right. Revolution of our own consciousness of how we see the world and how we interact with the world. It's revolutionary, the way that we can experience it every single day.
Revolt me, Vera.
All right, I'm not sure what you mean by that, but
me neither. It's just putting verbiage out there.
All right, super grateful to be with you. Super grateful to be with all you guys. See your smiling faces and yes, the gift of a morning pause, the gift of a deep breath, the gift of the present moment, something that is so elusive in our life. It can just, it can be years we don't experience the present moment. And so we want to do that every single day. We want to do it throughout our days. We want to enter into the present moment. We want to enter into our knowing self, a meditation on the qualities of our soul, a meditation on the qualities of the divine, to enter into that state of consciousness and to bring that knowingness, to bring that state of being into every moment of our life. And so we pray together. We call out together to a higher power to help us to reconnect spiritually. And so those of you that are joining in right now, connect to your breath. Let yourself pause from whatever you're doing right now. Letting yourself just relax and soften into a prayer. Soften into spiritual intention that you want to bring into your life right now. My dear Lord, there is a voice. There's a voice that poses so many obstacles and so many limitations in my life. A voice that I claim to be my own. I believe that voice is me, telling me what I can do and I can't do, judging, measuring, and weighing the things that I see and experience in the world, accepting some things, rejecting some things, loving some people, hating some people. That voice that stirs me, that stops me from sleeping at night. That voice that makes me move even when I don't want to. That voice that pushes me to act out of control. My dear Lord, please help us to recognize that's not us. Please help us to be able to distinguish between our mind, between our higher consciousness. Please help us to recognize any negativity, any limitation, any voice that's pushing us down as illusion. Help us to recognize that as our conditioning, to accept our conditioning, but to not let it drive us in our life. My dear Lord, just ask you for the strength and the courage to be able to pause when we hear that voice and to question it and to just witness it, to see ourselves separate from our mind, to be able to use whatever circumstance life brings our way, whatever circumstance you bring our way, whatever experience we're having internally, to use that as a catalyst for coming closer to you, for awakening our higher consciousness, and choosing to love and to serve in those moments. Please empower us to tap into the limitless nature of our soul, the boundless, pure, loving nature of our spirit, and help us to share that today, right now, to share that consciousness with ourselves and with everybody who we come into contact with. We call out your names to invoke your presence, to help us to connect to our true self beyond the mind. And so as I call out this great chant for delivering our consciousness from the conditional mind, help us to just hear each syllable of the sacred Sanskrit Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Help us to be transported to your lotus feet. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you so much, Vira.
Thank you, Baba.
Beautiful.
I want to give a shout out on, I just saw right when I opened my eyes, I saw Naushin joined from Australia. Welcome, Naushin.
Naushin's always on the prayer revolution.
I know, but she just moved from New York back down to Australia. So
it did.
Super grateful to see her tuning in. And
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Other side of the globe.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Vira?
I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm appreciating the opportunity to pray with you guys, appreciating the moments to reconnect, to recenter, and to, it's like a recalibration. So.
Yeah. Tell me what's good. What's good? Tell me something good. I need good news. Give me some good news.
Give you some good news. Okay. Tell you something good. Well, I could say the prayer again if you want. Just keep it flowing.
Did you listen to what I just said? That was all good news.
Yeah.
How's that little squishy boy of yours?
Squishy boy is incredible. You know, I'm really appreciating. I think about you guys every day that I'm with him. In the mornings, I think about our prayer revolution. It's just, all the names and faces and these sacred moments that we have together just flash through my consciousness when I'm with him. And in thinking of you guys, I really feel like it literally, if I just think of prayer revolution, I just think of these experiences, it just brings me back into that consciousness. It brings me back into this sacred consciousness of this incredible gratitude for the moment and recognizing the opportunity to serve and be in that moment. And so it's Martha's painting. We're all here praying together. That's some good news, right? Yeah.
It's good news.
It's good news. Yeah. And that, that really, there's so many times that I've experienced, he's really frustrated and it's like, I'll try everything, like, what is it? Like, what's the little guy need? Like, how can I serve him? How can I help him? And I'm like, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, like, dude, like, can you just like tell me what you need? Like it can get frustrating, time going by and just not knowing how to, and then it's like, oh yeah, like, and he's like, like passes out, like drooling all over me, just like, that feeling. And we're all so sensitive. We kind of like, filter it and tone it down. We're so sensitive. Every one of us, sensitive human beings, we're affected by our environment. We're affected by the people that we're around. We're affected by the music, the video, the audio, the news, the this, the that. Just somebody walking past us and just overhearing a negative conversation. We're affected by everything.
Totally.
And so when I'm with him, I really get that, I get that reminder that, wow, my presence has the greatest effect on him. I could be smiling and giggling and laughing, but like, if I'm not centered, if I'm trying to teleport him to a certain experience, he feels it, you know, like he feels that I'm more important than him, you know? And so that's not love, right? That's not love in those experiences. And even, you know, like Dion and I could be having a conversation and I could be passionately talking about something and he's just like giggling and laughing because it's real, because it's present, because it's alive. It's not, you know, not banging around inside of the mind and fearing and judging and, you know, measuring away. It's presence. And that presence, he responds to it. It's amazing. Like, even if I'm raking and picking up stuff and doing yard work and he's strapped onto me, he's chilling, you know, but I could be in the most peaceful thing and I'm bugging in my mind and he's totally uncomfortable. So looking at him, thinking about you guys, you bring me deeper into that prayerful mindset, into that present moment, to seeing really that all God is asking of me in every single moment of my life, which is a task, which is definitely, it's a challenge for all of us, is to be present, to be grateful, to look at the opportunity to serve. That's it. That's it. It's a simple equation for the greatest, incredible spiritual revolution on the planet, you know? And that all of us, we're not so much different. We just get conditioned and we don't feel the sensitivity as much in our life. We get conditioned to listening to that negativity. We get conditioned to that voice. We get conditioned to not being present. And we get conditioned to suffering, you know, even if it's acute, you know, that we're not feeling a rapture. We're not feeling this aliveness in our day-to-day life. And so we get conditioned to that. And we are affected, none different than a little baby. We're affected by everything around us. And so just that awareness, I know for myself, it's like, yeah, it really takes an awareness because there's a conditioning, there's a thick layer that's there that I think that things don't affect me, but they do, you know, and to be conscious of that, to be present, to recognize my environment, recognize who I'm putting myself into contact with, recognize what I'm letting go through my senses. It's having an effect on me positively or negatively.
Yeah, totally. My dog completely knows when we're not paying attention to him or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we could be sitting in a room with them and just hanging out. And as soon as I start to check my phone, he notices it.
Yeah,
He's like,
totally.
you're no longer paying attention to me.
Yeah.
You know, and like he just gets all up in your face and he's like, are you not paying attention to me anymore? Like, he knows when you're not paying attention to him. And like, he makes you know it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in the same room and you start doing something else, it's not even like, oh, like when you're physically not touching him or playing with him, he just knows, like, if your attention, your mind has gone somewhere else. Like, he can perceive it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. I was thinking about it.
I gotta be on my game.
You gotta be on your game. Yeah, right. Well, it's like, well, what is that game, right? You gotta be on your game. It's like, if I want to experience, like, the idea is like, no. Like, the idea is pleasure is outside of this moment. The idea is like, the satisfaction that I am craving is not right here, right now. It's not here, guys. Sorry, it's not here. It's after prayer revolution. It's after your day of work. It's when, you know, and we convince ourselves of that. Like, we're so conditioned to Rajagun, to the passionate mode, that doing equals fulfillment. Doing equals the state of being that I'm seeking, this pleasure that I'm seeking in my life. I was thinking about what you shared yesterday and kind of how it parallels to what we're talking about today, relationship with our mind, is that with our health, right? Treat your body as if it belonged to the person that you love most in your life. Treat your body as if it belonged to somebody who you worship, you love. You would never, you know, intentionally harm a hair on their body. Treat our body that same way. And then when I think about our mind, right? Imagine, and oftentimes when I'm in coaching, we'll role play a little bit and we'll talk about, wow, okay, because as we're in sessions, it becomes more and more clear what that voice is saying. There's a story and there's a voice that is constantly broadcasting a message, and that is generally a very negative, like disempowering belief and story. And when we come out of those layers and we can hear that voice clearly, it's like I say it to them. like I'll say it straight to them. I'll say like, this is what you're saying. And I say it without anything. I just say it straight to them. And they're like, whoa, like that, like that wasn't nice, like, that doesn't feel good. And I'm like, yeah, totally. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And man, holy smokes. Right. If we spoke to the person that we love the way we speak to ourselves every single day of our life, and maybe some of us out there, we've transcended the negativity of our mind, or we've been able to recognize that and not buy into that story. Amazing. Congratulations. And if we haven't, then, to be able to pause and be able to look at, wow, like, would I speak like this to my guru? Would I speak like this to my child? Would I speak like this to an innocent bystander on the street? Would I do that? And so to be able to look at that and to be able to recognize that, and man, it has an effect. It has a heavy effect on us. And in the prayer today, I'm praying that all of us, that we can feel today a little bit more conscious of that. Just recognizing that there's the mind, there's the conditioning, and there's the true self. There's two things going on inside of there, and we can choose them at any given time to really be able to create that space and to look at those stories, to look at the negativity, to not, we're not trying to kill it or cut it out of our life, but that it can be a reminder of truth, not that it becomes the driver and runs us into the gutter, So praying for that for all of us today, that we have the courage to be able to recognize that. And
you mentioned that would I speak that way or treat somebody else the way that I'm doing that to myself? And I think oftentimes the answer might be no, I wouldn't do that. But why is that? Why do we have that different standard?
It's a great question. It's tricky, right? Because we think that it's us, we don't recognize that there's a separation. That's what it comes down to. Like, we really, really buy in. Our friend Ganesham, I love Ganesham so much. Such an amazing, he's a chaplain at New York Presbyterian Hospital. And, all through COVID, he's been fully present, at the bedsides of dying patients. He's a chaplain and provides, so much care for people, whatever situation they're in. And I remember Ganesham sending me an email one time, because him and I we've had some great conversations about the mind and the Bhagavad Gita. So much of the Gita is being able to transcend duality, which is in the seat of the mind. And that if we're, really starting our day off, this is what he suggests, right? Because we identify with it as ourself. We wake up in the morning. What happens when you guys set your alarm for a real early bird? You're gonna get up early, and you're gonna take a nice shower, and you're gonna get in a nice early meditation, and it's just you. The accountability is just on you. What happens quite often? It starts with an S. What happens? You snooze, right? Boom, you snooze. AJ, you got it, right? It's like, why? Because it's like, that voice is me. That voice is my best friend saying like, yo, Vira, you need more sleep, buddy. Like, come on, man. It is early. You really need to sleep more. This is what you need, And I'm like, radio, boom, hit that snooze button, right? Let me get it 15 more minutes, 30 times. Let me sleep for 8 minutes. And then, then I'll feel really rested after that. And so my mind, it's snooze, then you lose, right? Like, and just put it on there. Guilty. We're all guilty of it, right? We've all been guilty of snoozing and losing. But we listen to that voice as if it's us. We listen to that voice as if it's us. And so we buy it. And when that voice is saying like, man, okay, like, you know what? You really, you don't have what it takes, actually, buddy. You know what? You don't have what it takes. Or, you know what? Like, that person's a real pain in the whatever, you should cut him out of your life, right? We listen, whatever it is, the unlimited things that are going on. Or I'm sitting and meditating and like, oh my God, I forgot to put that on the grocery list. That is really important right now. Let me make sure I write that on the to-do list right now. Like, whatever it is, I've just bought into that voice, positive, negative. And Ganesham and what the Bhagavad Gita is saying is doubt that. Doubt that voice. Doubt that part of ourself. Connect to the part of ourself that's beyond that. Connect to the knowing self. connect to the qualities of the soul. Even if we're sitting down and we meditate, we talked about it yesterday, 1 minute a day. Open up the Bhagavad Gita, go into chapter 2, looking at the qualities of the soul. Just go into 1 minute meditation. That's who I am. That's who I am. I'm a friend, or like we were talking about in the 12th chapter, I'm a friend of every person. I don't put anyone under harm. That's who I am. And so then if there's anything other than that that's coming into my consciousness, that's our work. That's creating the space between that, creating the space between that voice.
Yeah. I'm curious who came up with the snooze button. You know what I mean? Like, was it like the first alarm clock? Was it an original feature of the first alarm clock, or did it come later? Like when they made the first alarm clock, it was like, nobody's going to do this.
Yeah.
No one's going to get up when this alarm goes off. We got to put a feature in there. Or were they just messing with people? Like, listen, we're going to tempt people because we know. And like, how could they set up there should be a limit to snooze button. It should just be like, you should have one snooze that the snooze goes off, and then the next feature instead of like a buzzer and alarm, it's just like you're giving up. The alarm clock should just say you're giving up, so am I. Let's just go to sleep. It should just
let's just go to sleep together.
Let's just go to sleep together. Like I'm gonna quit. Come on, like you know what I mean?
Snuggle. Let's just snuggle. Let's get the alarm clock. Give it a break, and just cuddle. Give it a nice.
But you know what
cuddle.
I mean? When was the first realization they were like, you know what? People are just not gonna get up when this thing beeps. We need to put a feature in there that's going to like give them some leeway because like maybe they read the Bhagavad Gita. Maybe they knew the nature of the mind. They're like, listen, hey guys, maybe it was a Bhagavad Gita discussion group. They're like, hey guys, we've read the Bhagavad Gita. We know the nature of the mind. People are not going to like get up when this thing goes up. So we need to put a feature in there to give them some leeway.
Totally.
How did that come to be?
You know what? I do not have the answer to that question, but there is a solution for it.
Because it's so standard. Bob Hallowell is saying you can set that feature to limit the number of snoozes. LOL. But like that doesn't work.
Right. Well, this is something that we've done. I'm
going to set my alarm and I'm going to put 3 snoozes on it, as opposed to just setting my alarm for 20 minutes later. I think there's a specific gratification you get. Sometimes I hit this. Sometimes I'm like, I can just turn my alarm off, or no, I'm just going to keep it in this because there's a certain like that hitting of snooze and that like dozing back off. It's so gratifying. It's just like so
immediate,
tasty. You know what I mean? There's something there.
The immediate pleasure.
There's like this deep pleasure in hitting the snooze button over and over.
Yeah,
it's addicting, Mike Conway.
Totally, right?
Terrible.
It's like, God, I just can't
wait
to hit that snooze button again. I can't wait till that alarm wakes me up again and I get to just hit that snooze button. It's so invigorating. Totally, right? You know,
I said it earlier so I can just snooze.
Right.
Give myself 20 minutes of snooze time.
Roll around in bed. Yeah, totally. Whatever it is, right? Even if consciously we do it, that's awesome, right? Even if consciously we say, hey, you know what? I like to be in bed for 10, 20 minutes and just gradually wake up. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's amazing. That's sweet. You know, like I like to lay in bed and just gradually just wiggle my fingers and my toes and wake myself up and think of the things that I'm grateful for, whatever it is. You know, we want to go into a conscious kind of waking ourselves up in like a conscious and empowering way. Amazing, you know. And Martha, she put on here, put the alarm far away so you have to get up from the bed. That's one that I've done. That's kind of been my practice for many years, is like the alarm isn't reachable. I have to get out of bed. And by the time I get out of bed, I'm like, all right, let's keep it rolling, you know?
Yeah. I did that once and then I hated myself when I woke up, so I never did it again. I was like, why? Like the alarm was going off and it was so far on the other side of it. I was like, why did I do that?
As you do the army crawl, you're like, must hit the snooze button. But this is if we look at this as like a practice, if we look at where I'm going to suffer, you know, and come back to the prayer that we had this morning, where I'm going to suffer is when I'm in duality. That's where I'm going to suffer. That is the suffering of this world, is that I think that there's a pleasure and a pain that is everything. The pleasures and the pains of this world are everything. If that's the consciousness that I'm in, I'm going to experience the pleasures and the pains of this world. Guarantee, there's no question about it. And so we're working toward connecting to a self that's beyond that. That's our practice. And we started in the morning. I'm giving you guys a challenge. I'm going to give you guys a challenge. All my snoozers out there, I love you. I love you. I'm giving you so much love right now because I've been there. I know it. And I still go there occasionally. And that, okay, so for this tomorrow, let's keep it super simple because we get together every day. Tomorrow, yesterday we had a 1-minute meditation on the qualities of the soul. Tomorrow, you are not hitting your snooze button. How's that sound? How does that feel? Some trepidation, some uncertainty.
I'm just not going to use an alarm.
Not going to use that. Okay, you got it.
Well, it's so funny that this is happening because to be honest with you, I normally don't set an alarm. I normally just kind of wake up in the morning, and so I rarely ever set an alarm. And I set an alarm this morning because I was talking with a friend in India, and early this morning, and so I needed to set an alarm to make sure that I got up at a specific time to catch his phone call because they're in a different time zone. So I needed our morning is their night. So I had to set an alarm this morning, and I hit the snooze button so many times because it just was like, I was just like, and also because my wife is in New Jersey right now. She went to go visit her family, just spend some time with her parents. Yeah. And so she's out there. So I'm just here alone. So it's just kind of like you can go to bed whenever, wake up whenever. It's kind of like, that kind of like dreamy little whatever. And it was just this for the first time in I don't know how long. I don't know when. I was just hitting that snooze button like a hit of morphine. It's like
mm-hmm.
And I hit it so many times. And then we're talking today about the snooze button. It's so funny.
Totally.
I haven't hit the snooze button in so long.
I felt it, bro. I felt it. Come on, man. We're connected. I felt you needed a little snooze boost.
I hit the snooze. I totally hit the snooze.
So, and we're talking about snooze, right? We're talking about this. It's a one small example of what we do throughout our life. It's one small example. But when we start off listening to the voice and not observing it and not seeing it, when we start off listening to the voice and following its command, we are under control of our conditioning. We're under the control of our conditioning. We are starting off saying, that's who I am. That voice is the reality, and that voice I obey. That's what happens. We're setting ourselves up for that, And so I'm kind of starting off, going downhill. So just with that practice, whatever it is, whether your conscious practice is to stay in bed for 20 minutes after you wake up, or it is or your conscious practice is that I know the alarm goes off and I click it one time. If it's conscious, then you're in control again, right? You're observing that, you're recognizing that, and you're not following the commands of your mind, following the commands of your intelligence, of your higher self. And so that's what we're talking about. We're just giving one example and having fun with it and talking about it, but it's something that goes throughout our whole life. We want to be able to distinguish, right? We want to be able to see the thinking mind. We want to be able to recognize that and have a dialogue with that, not to just be controlled by that and directed by that every single moment of our life.
Yeah. When I used to live in the ashram in California, this was 15 years ago, and I had an alarm clock. And this was before smartphones, before people can use their phones. Now we have you can have all kind of like silky sounds and dreamy star sounds.
Oh, Bansuri flute.
Like little sweet. Before it was just like the nuclear detonate button, like like, oh my God, So I had this alarm clock and had the big red numbers, the big red numbers and the alarm clock. And I'd wake myself up because, at 4:30 in the morning to go to the morning program, but I was living in the ashram. So it was just a room of other people. And there's one point where, there's a few of us there and the other people wouldn't be getting up in the morning. So I would be waking myself earlier. And I would always set my alarm clock. And I was under a complete illusion. I always thought I'd get up when my alarm clock went off. And every time I hit the snooze button, I actually thought I was only going to hit it once. And I would hit the snooze button like 5 times sometimes. And at a certain point, my roommates were like, they're like, we're going to steal. Like, this is not necessary. Like, could you please just stop? Because I was waking everybody else up and they were just like miserable for it. But I literally thought like, no, I'm going to wake up. I'm only going to hit the snooze button once. Just go and go, but like there's this, we even delude ourselves, thinking like, I'm going to do it. But it's just like, come on. Am I really just going to be, am I really deluding myself here? Like, I like the intentionality that you're setting of, just for me, I find it that, that there's a sense of needing to, like, when the alarm goes off, like making it quick, making it quick, getting out of bed, getting going. Because otherwise it's like, you're still in that mode of ignorance, you're still covered. And it's like, I got to snap out of it. Otherwise I'm just like, I'm setting myself up here to be, I'm not going to snap out of it.
Yeah, totally. The stakes are high. The stakes are high. We don't really recognize it. Like, it's something that oftentimes it's really kind of looked at as, it's just like looked at in passing, but the stakes are high early in the morning, right? Who is driving? Who's driving? Who's the captain of your ship? Who's making the decisions? What's pushing you? What's pulling you? And it's, definitely to be able to take a deep breath, to get out of bed when we say we're going to get out of bed. It's not comfortable. It's not easy. It's the last thing that our lower self wants to do. It's the last thing that our covered, sleeping soul wants to do, right? But Jiv Jago, like, we are here in this life, we're here on this planet, we're here in the spiritual revolution to awaken ourselves spiritually. And we awaken starting right in the morning. We awaken, or we snooze. So, and that's throughout life. But the morning it's a powerful, powerful opportunity for us.
Okay, guys, all you snoozers out there.
All right. So tomorrow, when you guys log into Zoom and when you guys join on Instagram, if you're joining with us each day, we want to see what time you woke up, and some thumbs up. Thumbs up that you're the captain of the ship.
For those who snooze, we're gonna go through a hazing ritual. We're gonna brand the letter S on all of our foreheads, so that we know, like the scarlet letter.
Wow.
Like a snoozer.
Wow. That's a little bit intense, Doyle. A little bit intense. Love it, bro.
You're just afraid of having the scarlet letter.
Love you, bro. All right, it's our challenge tomorrow. Refuse to snooze, guys. Amazing to be with you. DG, anything you want to share to close up?
Just love you guys all so much. Appreciate it. Be well. If you got more of Vira's Refuse to Snooze life lessons and guidelines, he's leading a lifestyle transformation course starting tomorrow.
Yeah, so tomorrow 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Eastern time. Tomorrow it's a 4-week course about how to not snooze away your life, to live according to your values. You can find it at bhakticenter.org/online. It's a 4-week course. It's just a great time to spend with Vira. He'd love to have you there. We'd love to have you join him there. And for all our other great Bhakti Center online offerings, check out bhakticenter.org/online. And we'd love to keep in touch with you. Write to us at Prayer Revolution at bhakticenter.org. Send us your feedback. Send us your questions. Be in touch. Leave us a 5-star review and a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening on. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. Right?
Love you, bro.
Okay, guys. Take care, everybody.
Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. Hari.
See you later, everybody. Thank you so much. Nicole, Julie, AJ.
I bow to all of you, angels.
Love you guys. Aditi, so good to see you.
Haribo,
Trisha, Bhakti Louie, as
Haribo.
always. Mike, Michelle. You take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.